January 8th, 2012. Madison, Wisconsin. It's as cold as can be. The course is part frozen mud, part slick ice, and 4 men are about to settle the biggest question in American cyclocross. Jeremy Powers, the show-off superstar who never won nationals before, now on a new team. Tim Johnson, the GOAT of American cross with multiple titles. Jonathan Page, the Euro boy who'd conquered Belgium. Ryan Trebon, tall as hell and putting down serious watts. Last season was Powers' best ever, and he still didn't get the stars and stripes. This time would be different. The Madison course at Badger Prairie County Park promised brutal conditions. Frozen dirt mixed with slick sections that would test handling as much as fitness. With 1 minute to start, riders prepared for Wisconsin's bitter cold. When the gun fired, U23 champion Zach McDonald, also Jeremy Powers' teammate, exploded from the line, taking the whole shot before Trebon recovered from a sluggish start to seize control. On the first straightaway, Trebon began putting his height and power to work, opening a gap, but at 6-minute mark, Trebon still led with McNichols. Fresh off winning the 30-plus nationals in second, the expected protagonists, Johnson, Page, Powers, and Jeremy Driscoll, were all within striking distance. Trebon's early pace was creating real separation. European minds cannot comprehend the horror of an American cross course as the riders navigated power sections after power sections after power sections. As they completed the first lap, the race had clarified into its essential elements. Page had caught and passed Trebon to take the lead, with a small gap packed to Trebon, Powers, and Johnson, the 3 characters who had defined this American cyclocross season. The tactical complexity was immediately apparent. Powers moved past the fading Trebon and closed the gap on Page as they went through the pits, setting up the kind of head-to-head battle that American cycling fans have been hoping for all season. This is what you want a nationals to be. The best riders in the country, all at the top level, going head-to-head. But the leaders weren't alone for long. Reinforcements arrived in the shape of Chris Jones for Powers and Jeremy Driscoll for Johnson, introducing the possibility of team tactics in what had initially looked like an individual battle. The race developed into a heavyweight slugfest for the ages, as Powers withstood a barrage of blows from rivals, accounting for 8 of the last 11 national titles. For several laps, this became the norm. The leaders continued trading positions, with the nation's favorites testing each other and taking advantage where possible. Trebon, Page, Johnson, Powers, and Jones were all together, with Driscoll yo-yoing off the back, as tactics increasingly looked to play a large role in the final shakedown. Behind the leaders, McDonald was remounting a remarkable comeback. The U23 champion found a second win and began a solo effort to carve into the gap, proving that his early hole shot hadn't been just youthful enthusiasm, but genuine strength. With 5 laps to go, Tim Johnson, the only rider sporting disc brakes, made a huge effort that stretched the leaders to the breaking point, forcing Page, Trebon, and Powers to respond and popping Jones and Driscoll off the back. With 3 to go, Johnson made another bold move, attacking hard on the finishing straight just as other riders were sitting up to catch a breath. It was tactically brilliant timing, and Johnson established a gap of several bike lengths going onto the dirt. But cyclocross is cruel to those who show their cards too early. A small slip cost Johnson his advantage, and the group of 5, now including the incredible McDonald, came back together. The race was reaching its crucial phase. Coming around the hill, Trebon was leading a 1-2 punch with McDonald and Powers, with a small gap over Jonathan Page. Johnson, clearly suffering from his earlier attacks, was dangling multiple bike lengths behind. But as had happened throughout the race, the pace eased on the finishing stretch, and with 2 laps to go, the final 5 came back together during the brief rest. Johnson was starting to show fatigue from his earlier attacks. Powers, reading the race, knew it was now or never. Near the pits, Powers decided to make his move. It was a devastating attack that caught Page out as he was swapping bikes, and it immediately shed all but Trebon from the lead group. Powers pushed his advantage, flying up the hill and eking away from the 2-time champion. By the bottom of the hill, Powers had established 7 crucial seconds over Trebon. The move proved decisive. The small pack that had stayed together for most of the race was obliterated, and each remaining rider was suddenly on his own. From that moment, it became Powers versus Trebone. A fitting finale, given how the two had traded wins throughout the season. Powers put everything into maintaining his lead, while Trebone used his incredible power to attempt to claw the leader back. Behind them, Page continued to look strong in third, maintaining his position with the steady consistency that had defined his career. For Johnson, the race was effectively over. The multiple attacks and sustained efforts had taken their toll, and he crossed the full 29 seconds behind Powers with 1 to go. Crossing a line with Powers, sensing victory within his grasp, was able to post up for his first national title. Finally, man. Finally. It feels really good. Jeremy Powers would win the national championships 4 times in total, including 2014, 2015, and 2016. But his first victory in Madison represented something more significant. For years, Powers had been the show-off, the rider with style and fans who could animate any race, but somehow always came up short when this big prize was on the line. The 2012 Nationals proved that underneath the flash and personality was a killer instinct that could deliver when it mattered most. January 8th, 2012 marked the end of Jeremy Powers' long wait and the beginning of his most successful period. After years of being the nearly man, the rider of everything except the one result that mattered most had finally broken through. Finally, man. Finally. Those words capture not just one rider's belief, but the culmination of years of work, dedication, and the kind of suffering that only cyclocross can demand. Sometimes, the most meaningful victories aren't just about crossing the line first. They're about proving to yourself and the world that you belong among the champions. On a frozen day in Madison, Wisconsin, Jeremy Powers did exactly that.